This is the lecture over 8.1 and 8.2, length and weight in the geometry unit. I do want you to notice that the first page of your notes is this formula sheet. So I will be referring back and forth to this formula sheet as I go through these notes. All right, what we are doing in this unit is we are introducing from converting from one set of units to another set of units. So if you will notice how we do this, you will first look at what is given, 5 feet. So if you think of a ruler, that is 1 foot. So this, in essence, 5 feet is like 5 rulers. And we want to know how many inches are in 5 rulers, basically. So I'm going to give you a process for doing this that I really want to encourage you to follow this process because it will be beneficial and we will remain consistent all the way through. Plus, unit conversions is something that you will probably also encounter in science classes. So if you will learn this method, you will have lots better success when you encounter it in another class as well. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to start out and we are going to create almost like a tic-tac-toe. All right, so whatever you are given is what you start out with, 5 feet. Now, this is where we're dealing with length first. So these are the unit conversions that we will use. So I'm going to look for the one that says feet. Now, if you'll notice, here's feet and here's feet, but we're converting to inches. So this is the one that I'm going to use. Now, what I use here then is either 12 inches over 1 foot or 1 foot over 12 inches. So I'm going to use this unit conversion in fraction form. Let me show you that. Whoops. So what I'm saying is 12 inches over 1 foot, because that is equivalent to 1, or we will use 1 foot over 12 inches. Now, it's always determined on what you need to cancel out. So remember, in fractions, I can always cancel when something is on the top and on the bottom. I can't cancel top to top, but I can cancel top to bottom. So if I want to get rid of feet and it is on top, then I put feet on bottom. That will allow me to cancel those out. So I'm going to go back over here and say, okay, which one of these two has feet on bottom? And it is this one. So I am going to use 12 inches is 1 foot. This will allow me to cancel feet out, and now I am left with just inches, which is what we wanted. Now, if you remember in fractions, you just take top times top, bottom times bottom. So when I look at this, and remember, feet is gone, so I have 5 times 12 inches, and on the bottom, I just have this 1. So now I go to my calculator and I take 5 times 12, and that is 60, and anytime 1 is on the bottom, you don't have to show that. And you must maintain your units, so my answer is 60 inches. All right, so let's look at this method again. Now we're starting with inches, and we're going to convert it to feet. So I always begin with what is given, 29 inches. Now, we're still dealing with inches and feet, so I'm going to use one of these 2 unit conversions. That's what these are called, as unit conversions. So I come back here and I go, okay, inches is on top, so in order to cancel it, I have to put inches on bottom. So I'm going to come over here. Which one has inches on bottom? This one. So I'm going to use that unit conversion, which is 1 foot is the same thing as 12 inches. So now I can cancel out inches because that's what I wanted to get rid of. I'm left with feet, which is what we wanted. Now, if you'll notice, this time on top I have 29 times 1 foot, and on bottom I have 12. So this is where you have to be careful because now I have 29 over 12 feet. Now, this can be written 3 different ways, and you will need to be careful in WebAssign to follow the directions for the way that they want it. So as left as improper, it would be 29 over 12 feet. Now, if you remember in your calculator, you can convert that. So let me put that in fractional form, 29 over 12. Whoops, I cleared it instead of hitting enter. Just a minute. 29 over 12, enter. Okay, that's the improper. And if I want the mixed, I do second. And it would be the same thing as 2 and 5/12 feet. Or I can hit this, remember this double arrow here. And if you'll notice, it's 2.416 forever. So 2.416 repeating feet. Now, my guess is WebAssign is going to want one of these 2 fractional forms. I don't think you can enter a decimal repeating unless it tells you to round it to so many decimal places. So be careful of that in WebAssign. All right, let's look at the next one. Because now we're not dealing with inches and feet. Now we're starting with 2,850 yards. Now something is going to change a little bit in this one. 2,850 yards. Okay, so if yards is on top, I know I need yards on bottom, and I'm going to miles. All right, so I'm going to come over here, and here's miles, but my unit conversion is to feet. All right, so I need to go to, or I'm starting with yards. Well, the only thing I have in yards is this 3 feet. So the first thing that we're going to do is use this as a unit conversion to change it to feet. So, oops, sorry. So since yards is on bottom, I'm going to put 1 yard on bottom, and on top I'm going to put 3 feet. That cancels out my yards. Okay, but now I have feet and I want miles. So I'm going to go 1 more unit conversion. Feet is on top. I'm going to put that on bottom because I want to get rid of it. And now I have 5,280 feet is 1 mile. My feet have canceled, and now I'm left with miles. But it took 2 unit conversions for us to get from yards to miles. So now I just do top times top times top. So I have 2,850 times 3 times 1 mile. All of that over 1 times 5,280. Now, let's see what that is. I'm just going to go to my calculator. And on top, 2,850 times 3 times 1. And in the denominator, 1 times 5,280. So I get 285 over 176, and don't forget your units, miles. Now that's the improper. Its equivalent mixed is 1 and 109 over 176 miles. And then that fraction would be I'm sorry, not fraction, but decimal. Now this is approximate, so that's what the squiggly equals line, 1.62 miles. Again, pay attention to WebAssign, which way they want the answer. All right, now we're going to go from 15 miles, so that's a long distance. If you ran 15 miles, we want to know how many inches that is. All right, so that's what I start with, is 15 miles. And since I have miles, I know miles will go on the bottom. So I'm going to come over here. Now, I don't have a unit conversion to get me from miles to inches. So the only one I have is this miles to feet. So I'm going to start there. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Miles cancels out. Now I'm in feet, but I don't want feet. So feet is on top. I want to get rid of it, so I put it on bottom. Now, I could convert feet to yards, but that doesn't do me any good. I can also convert feet to inches, and that's what I want to do. So I'm going to use this unit conversion, and 1 foot is 12 inches. And so now I have gone from miles to inches. So we are going to take top 15 times top 5,280 times top 12 inches and divide it by, and these miles and feet are gone, so all I have is 1 times 1. All right. So, and when 1 is your denominator, you don't have to worry about showing it. So I'm just going to take 15 times 5,280 times 12. That's big. That's a lot of inches. 950,400. 950,400 inches. So if you ran 15 miles, you could tell people that you ran 950,400 inches. All right, next example. Now we are going to look at some that deal with weight. These first 4 examples dealt with length. Now we're going to get into ones that deal with weight. So now these are my unit conversions. So if you want to look at these as unit conversions, let me see if I can get here. We're going to be using either 16 ounces over 1 pound. We might use 1 pound over 16 ounces. The other one would be unit conversion, 2,000 pounds over 1 ton, or 1 ton over 2,000 pounds. So it just is determined by what the example is. Okay, so I always start out with what is given, which is 3,200 pounds. And if pounds is on top, in order to cancel it out, I have to put pounds on bottom. So I'm going from pounds to tons. So I'm going to look over here. I want pounds on bottom, which is LB, and I'm going to tons, so it looks like I'm going to use this one. So it will be 2,000 pounds is the same thing as 1 ton. So now pounds are gone, and I'm left with tons. So top times top, 3,200 times 1 ton over bottom is just 2,000. Okay, so 3,200 times 1 is 3,200 over 2,000 tons. But you got to be careful because that will definitely reduce. So it is 8/5. So this is equal to 8/5 tons. As a mixed number, it would be 1 3/5 tons, and as a decimal, it would be 1.6. 6 tons. So again, pay attention to WebAssign as to which form that they want it in. Also, I want to make note, on a test, you're going to have to be sure that you give me tons, but in WebAssign, they already have this for you. So only enter the number when you're in WebAssign, otherwise it'll count it wrong. All right, so we're still dealing with weight, those unit conversions, but now we are going to, let's see, we start with pounds, 3 1/2 pounds. Now don't let this freak you out because we know how to enter a mixed number into our calculator. If pounds is on top, I need pounds on bottom. But now I'm going to ounces. So pounds to ounces would be one of these two, and we know that pounds goes on bottom, so for this one we're going to use this unit conversion. So I will have 1 pound is 16 ounces. So my pounds cancel. I'm left with ounces, which is what we want. So on top I have 3 1/2 times 16 ounces over 1. Now, I don't believe you can put a mixed number. I'm going to try and see what happens. Oh, I guess it'll let me. So 3 1/2 times 16 over 1, we get 56. So this equals 56 ounces. All right, so moving that on to application type problems, because you know that those are always a part of this. So here is expanding those unit conversion usage into application problems. And remember, right now, we're just dealing with length and weight. So we'll be using any one of these. All right, it says the floor of a storage room is being tiled. Okay, so for my visual learners, I'm going to give you, just pretend like this is the floor of the storage room, okay? 8 tiles, and each of them are 9 inches square. So let me see if I can do this. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. Now they should be complete squares. Mine are more like rectangles. Now what it tells me is that each one of these is 9 inches. So what that means is this is 9 inches, this is 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches. That's what 9 inches square. Now my picture's not great because I have rectangles instead of squares, but each one of these is 9 inches on each side. Okay? And that would be true if you added here. So we're just tiling the whole floor. Each one of these is 9 inches. Okay? All right. Fit across the width of the floor. Find the width in feet of the storage unit. So what it's asking is, if we assumed up here is length, and this side is width. So it just wants to know this side that I've highlighted. Now notice conversions are given in inches, and it ultimately wants it in feet, okay? But the first thing that we're going to do is see how many inches is the width. So I'm going to calculate the width in terms of inches. Okay, so we know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles times each tile is 9 inches on that side. So I'm going to going to multiply that and I get 72 inches. So what we have just found is that this width is 72 inches. So now we have the width in inches, but now we need to take that. So we have 72 inches, and we need to convert that to feet. So 72 inches, and if inches are on top and I want to get rid of that, I'm going to put inches on bottom. And I want to convert that to feet. So I look over here and I have a unit conversion from inches to feet. So I'm going to put 1 foot on bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, inches. We're in inches. So I'm going to put 12 inches is 1 foot. So now my inches cancel and I'm left with feet. So I take top times top, 72 times 1 foot. Bottom is 12. So if I go to my calculator, 72 times 1, 12, I get 6. So the width is 72 inches. It is also equivalent to 6 feet. Okay? All right, next one. So the weight in pounds of 12 bars of soap. Okay, so I'm going to quickly draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's my 12 bars of soap. Each bar weighs 7 ounces. So 7 ounces is what each one of these weighs, okay? But it wants us to find the weight in pounds. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is calculate the weight in ounces. So I have 12 bars of soap times 7 ounces each. So 12 times 7, so we have a total of, 84 ounces. So all of these bars together weigh 84 ounces. So then what we're going to do is we are going to convert our 84 ounces to pounds. So 84 ounces. If ounces is on top, I need ounces on bottom. Now this is a weight, and I'm going ounces to pounds, so I'm going to use this unit conversion, and ounces is what is on bottom, so I will use 16 ounces is 1 pound. So ounces have canceled, I'm left with pounds. So I have 84 times 1 pound over 16, and remember it's not, oh, I'm so sorry, there we go. It's not 16 ounces because ounces have been canceled. So I have 84 over 16 pounds. Now that is going to reduce. So I'm going to go to my calculator and do 84 over 16. So it's 21 pounds. 5 1/4 pound, or as a decimal, 5.25 pounds. So again, pay attention to WebAssign on which form that they want that in, okay? All right. Okay, I think we're good. So that is our notes over 8.1 and 8.2. In WebAssign, there are 2 different assignments, but they're due on the same day. There's an 8.1 assignment and an 8.2 assignment. Be sure and email me with any questions.